Hey everybody, guess what? We are back. This is African Frame Podcast. It's just the two of us. It's myself and Rob Sibeko, my co-host, a writer, world builder, a director. Do check out his books. He does have quite a number of books. Leave a link in the description below. One of them is Bludgeon Ball, the other is Heist, the other is Jin's 4, as you can see on his wallpaper at the back. So check out his stuff. And we're gonna be finishing our Karate Kid Part 1 review. This is the third video of that film because we talked about it a lot actually. We probably have like more than 3 hours of discussion over this one movie. I mean, it's iconic. It makes sense. It's one of the most iconic films of all time. Anyway, if you have no idea what we're referring to, please check out the first two videos before you check out this one. Otherwise, you'll get lost. But apart from that, yeah, let's get into it, Rob. Is there anything you want to say before we start?
Nothing much, man. Just ready to jump in.
All right, let's do
Cats.
this.
Oh. So apparently where we left off was after Mr. Miyagi incident at his lowest, where Mr. Miyagi then rewards him. Okay, and then we move on to the final act, because that was the ending of the last act, and now we're on Act 3. People call that, I believe, the dark heart of the soul moment, but basically breaking Act 3. So now, with everything settled, our main character is now motivated to act. So we get our new action, and we start on a new day, which is a common theme of this movie, is they like to really start things on a new day. A lot of old school movies, what they would do is like, whenever you see a movie getting knocked out, whenever you see a movie character getting knocked out like every 20 minutes, it's because they're trying to do this without doing this, because there's no time.
Right.
That's why some movies, they push it to the point of being ridiculous, where one guy gets knocked out 5 times in the same movie. Like, what is happening right now? So this is the way you're supposed to do it.
I see.
Yeah. Danielson is motivated. He's on a pole and he's practicing his balancing act. It's not perfect, but the new motivation has really got him going. He's actually managed to succeed in things where he'd have failed before. We are seeing progress just like before. When we saw the painted cars, we saw the finished fence, we saw the finished house. It wasn't just seeing him start things, we seeing him finish, which I think is something we've forgotten in filmmaking.
Talk about cheap labor.
Yeah, that's true. But successful with his movements, we now get our big payoff in the next scene. We're about to learn how to do a punch. It starts with him talking to Danielson, Miss Miyagi talking to Danielson. But because this is all a kids' movie, we still have time for a joke or two. We see him throwing a bit of humor, and I love it so much. The whole sequence is hilarious. Anyway, the sequence progresses, to the birthday party, and we see them share a birthday cake together. They even get a present. It is a gi.
Whose birthday was it?
It was Danielson's, I believe. Yes, it was Danielson's birthday. So he spends the beginning with Mr. Miyagi, then he's going to end with his mom. I believe that's the case. Oh, that was the plan anyway. I think you don't see the mom at all in the end, yes. The sequence progresses to his birthday. They share a birthday cake together. And they get Mrs. Miyagi, the one that the outfit, the design that Mrs. Miyagi made, he gives it to Danielson. So it's not just anything, it's massive. And that's a big deal even to Danielson, who can't believe it. And then it gets even better because he asked, "Yo, Danielson, do you have a driver's license?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course, yeah, I do." And he ends up getting a car. He gets to choose a car, one of the cars that he waxed himself, and it even has Mr. Miyagi's dog tags, which is like the ultimate gift. I mean, it's
It's the thing I don't like. I don't understand how rich Mr. Miyagi is or how broke he is. Like, it doesn't make sense. Is this guy broke or is he rich? Because he's a handyman at some, I don't know what to call it, some estate.
I
right?
think you see that's the thing. You're using 2000s thinking. 90s thinking money meant a lot else. You could work a job as a guy who does maintenance on a hotel and have enough money for a house, because that's obviously not his house. And then you have to understand, Mr. Miyagi's probably been living on government assistance and working on the thing at the same time. Because remember, you're a
Yes.
veteran, so you get both paychecks. You buy a
Oh,
small house.
I didn't know you get both paychecks. Okay.
Yeah. You live in a small house, right? And then obviously, remember, this is California, so the value of that house probably exploded.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't sell the house, then we look at the house and go, God damn.
Yeah, but how many cars does he have? He has like so many
Yeah,
cars,
so
bro.
many cars there, but they're old cars. That's another thing. Remember, these are like old.
Yeah.
Today they'd be like pieces of garbage. Do you know what I mean? If you don't look after them, which he does.
Well, yeah, it depends. I mean, if someone can really zhuzh them up and make them those classic vintage cars, maybe they could go, it could
Exactly.
cost more. Yeah.
Exactly. And a good example would be, remember Friends? People used to
Yeah.
complain, like, how does a waiter earn enough money to get a house like that? You know what I mean? It
Who was the waiter again? Rachel.
was technically it was Rachel and Phoebe, yes. It was Rachel. It was Rachel,
Oh,
sorry.
Monica.
Monica was a chef. But even
Oh,
with a
no, no,
chef's
no.
salary,
Yeah, Monica was a chef.
yeah, but like I think later on she became like an official chef. Like then it kind of made more sense because she had a higher position.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Yeah.
Rachel. But in the beginning, it was because of rent controls. There was actually a reason for it. In New York, they had something where you're not allowed to increase the rent, no matter how inflation is, by more than 5% on the year. So no matter what, you could end up with a cheap house as long as you had it and you didn't sell it over the years. It
Oh,
produced, yeah.
okay.
That's technically how they could afford it. That doesn't
So
explain.
so Ross was the only one that stayed by himself, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
that's why I think he's my favorite character overall. It's like this dude was the smartest guy
Yeah,
and he was the richest guy.
yeah, definitely. I mean, he had one of the in the beginning. He was definitely the only one with a real job, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's kind of
But no,
how
no,
it
no.
works.
Because if you remember, I know people like saying that Friends, all of them were main characters and all of them could have had their own shows, which is true, right? All of them are great characters. Anybody could be the main character of any show, of their own show if they had spin-offs. I mean, we saw with Joey. But for me, it has always been Ross first, Chandler second. Because Chandler was like the second richest and the second smartest out of all of them.
Oh, definitely the smartest. I forgot what he did for a living though. I forgot what he
Nobody
did.
really knew, bro. Like, he's kind of like Barney from How I Met Your Mother. Nobody
The
really knows what Barney does.
Martin. Oh, the guy from Martin. Martin.
Oh yeah, Tommy. Because they're
Yeah.
like, yo, Tommy, what do you do, bro? But the dude always looked clean. He was like the smartest one. He
Oh,
always
definitely.
like, yeah, man, what do you, dog? What do you do?
It's always fun when you put in like real life thinking stuff like that. But you know what's funny about this scene, actually, the Mr. Miyagi scene with the dog tags?
Yeah.
If you think about it, Daniel was told to choose any car. So then how did he know the keys would have the dog tags on them, would be the right pair?
How did Daniel know?
No, how did Mr. Miyagi know which keys to put the dog tags on? Unless he put dog tags on every single car, then how did he know where to put the dog tags on the right keys?
Maybe he noticed that Daniel was paying more attention to that specific car.
Oh, like some kind
Because
of like,
remember, he saw him clean those cars, remember? Like,
yeah.
even though it was off screen.
So you think it was like the mentalist, where he was like, you know what, even though there's
I
too many
know you're
cars
gonna
to choose
choose
from,
this, yeah,
you
but
think that's what is happening? Mr. Miyagi became the mentalist. Patrick
well,
James.
in my head canon, yes, but maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. What do you think?
It was just to keep the scene smooth. You can't, you know what I mean? Keep the momentum
There's
of
no
the
other
scene.
reason. There's no other
To me, that's the more
reason
logical reason. But like, if you think about it, you're like, that was a good guess, Mr. Miyagi. That was a good guess. That specifically was the car you wanted.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I just thought that was a fun thought. Anyway, yeah, all of this accumulates to motivating him to get back to Ali. Um, and the whole time these scenes are happening, Mr. Miyagi is teaching. He's always giving lessons constantly. The sequence hits on a motivation on Ali as he drives off to Ali's meetup point, the place where she's always at, which was kind of explained in the dialogue when they met that crowd of people. Ali is mad at him, and I'm so blank because all the girls are pissed. I think the impression we're supposed to get is that he stood her up after all that bullshit that happened. I'm not sure what he did wrong,
Right.
But okay, whatever. As she walks off, the girls try to get him to stop and explain what happened after he left. He apologizes to her, and she forgives him immediately, and they're together again, and she will be there at the main event. The scene ends
Do you
with
think?
her driving the
Do you
car.
think Daniel? Do you think Daniel was a good boyfriend?
I think it's a great one. Because here's the thing, you're a human being. Here's the thing. I think if you're getting viciously bullied and something terrible is happening to you can't be a good boyfriend. Fundamentally, it's like if you're sick. You know what I
That's why.
mean?
That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking this question
Yeah.
because I'm also thinking about like characters like Spider-Man, especially like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films,
Yeah.
where he's mostly either Spider-Man or delivering pizzas or taking photos for John Jenna Jameson or with Aunt May, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he barely has time for Mary Jane, and even if when he does, it's brief. I don't think they spend that much time together because she's also acting and all of that.
Well, listen
And
to this. Yeah. Yeah.
and when he even has time to and try and watch her stuff, he's either late or whatever. So
Okay. Now there's two ways of
because
looking at
I'm
it.
trying to
Yeah.
look at it from the girlfriend's point of view, not from our perspective. Because from our perspective, everything is justifiable. But
Yeah.
from their perspective, from the character's perspective, the girlfriend's perspective,
Well, the way I see it is, it's kind of like dating someone who's sick. There's things that they
right?
can't do. There's things that they just can't, that won't satisfy you, that they just can't do, right? If you got like cancer or something like that, then you have to put in extra work. The only problem is you can't pretend to be normal and then have that kind of relationship. So I
Yeah,
think when it's a
yeah,
mutual thing of understanding, so Ali understands what's going on with Danielson. She's been briefed. It's not a secret. She understands the beef that's there, even though she doesn't like it. She understands that it's not Daniel's fault. Daniel's not trying to hunt these problems. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think I mentioned this before that she's very emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of girls her age would have given Daniel so many chances or would have been as understanding as Ellie around that time and around that age because some people could have just said, dude, you're wasting my time.
But that's the thing,
Or
though.
there's
I
just too
think
much drama here.
I
I'm
think
not going to be involved.
that's the mind frame you got to think of it at. Is it's not about giving chances. I mean, if you're a nurse and you got to go to the nurse's office to do your medical work, that's not me giving you a chance. That's the agreement that you understood coming in. And Ali came in understanding. Remember the Danielson thing happened day one. Do you know what I mean? Literally the day
But
they met.
I think you're just proving my point though, that she was very emotionally intelligent from the jump. Because teenagers,
Well, I mean,
not all
she
teenage
does
girls
end
would
up
have
throwing a fit
understood.
and leaving, and then he has to try and win her back. So I mean, it's not like, oh, she understands the whole time. But I do understand what you're saying, yes. But I think that's a big difference from Mary Jane. I think that's a very big difference from Mary Jane. I feel like, especially talking about Sam Raimi Spider-Man, Mary Jane was going through her own problems at the same time and needed help
Yeah,
but couldn't get it from Spider-Man. And at the same time, she couldn't give it either because she's dealing with her own stuff.
right.
Especially talking about Spider-Man 2, the best Spider-Man, then yes, absolutely. I think that then Peter was a bad boyfriend and she was a bad girl. They were literally incompatible.
Mm,
Because yes, she missed his stuff. It's not just about that. It's about she fucking flopped, and there was no one there to be like, it's gonna be okay. He
right,
was like, oh, I just found out. Oh, great, it's been a week. I'm glad you just found out. Do you know what I mean?
right.
So they were fundamentally incompatible. They couldn't accommodate each other because they each got their
Yeah.
own specific
They were just
problems.
not on the same page. Yeah.
They couldn't be.
Yeah.
And in a way, I think if
Okay.
you're an actor, you kind of have to be a little narcissistic. So I don't even hate Mary Jane. I feel like, yeah, it is literally the you show. If you know what I
No,
mean.
but let's be honest. Like Mary Jane in that entire trilogy, it was all about her. She just made it about her, whether she was aware or not aware, subconsciously. And I think that's why relationships like that never really work out, even in the real world, because if you're constantly chasing somebody, I mean, if you remember from the first time, from the first one. He was always taking photos of her. He was, you know what I mean? He was always trying to
Yes.
get her attention.
Yeah.
And when she finally gave him a chance, then it's all about her and her acting. You know, it's like he's still chasing her. He's still going.
But now here's the thing. Yeah. But now
So
here's the thing.
it's like, and I
Yeah.
think that's why. I mean, how many people did she date in that trilogy? She dated like 4 or 5 guys, because
Yeah.
it was Harry,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was Flash.
Mm-hmm.
It was John Dana Jameson's
Son.
son,
Yes.
and it was Peter. So it was four people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just attention seeking, dog, whether she knows it or not.
It's lashing out, definitely. Especially in the second one, you could probably argue it's more lashing out. But at the same time, hey man, if our relationship is you're the more energetic one, and then suddenly you stop being energetic, then I could make the argument that, you know, this wasn't the deal when things started. If you understand what I'm saying. With Mary
But
Jane
was
in
there
number
a
one,
deal that I'm gonna be energetic? You know what
there's
I mean?
clearly a deal. When you're the one taking photos of me and doing all these things, you come in with the heat, and then you suddenly switch off, and now I must give you.
It's not a deal. Okay, I get what you're saying. Expectation, yes, but it's not a deal.
Yes, okay,
Because
it's not a physical agreement. Agreed. Yes.
yeah, no.
But
Yes,
human
there's an
beings rely on
expectation.
patterns. Yeah, it's a pattern. You've built a
Yeah,
pattern in
but
my head, and then it's switched off. I don't get me wrong. I agree. She lacks the
we could talk
emotional.
about this for
Yeah,
days, but yeah, yeah.
yes, she lacks the emotional intelligence to
Yes.
adjust.
Yes.
Because at the same time, she's struggling too. Because it kind of,
Yes, which is fair. Yes.
I think if they'd had enough time with each other without the Spider-Man stuff, it would have been a proper relationship. And then when the Spider-Man shit came back, then she would have adjusted. But that's not how it happened.
Right.
That's not how it happened. So
Right.
because we forget that
Right.
Mary Jane had a bad life. Like Peter
No, she
Parker was
did.
a
Like
nerd.
she was always arguing with her. Was it her dad or her
Stepdad,
uncle?
I assume it's a stepdad. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, like an abusive family home. The only time she's appreciated is when she's Flash Gordon's girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? Which is fascinating. See, I love stuff like this because when you think about it, you're like, okay, let's paint this picture of what Mary Jane is.
It Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
What?
I know I called him Flash Gordon on purpose, yeah. Mr. McCool, and then Mr. McCool gets beaten up senseless by the nerd of the group, who turns out to be kind of a badass. And clearly she's seeking something that she found in Flash Gordon. And then it gets knocked. I almost feel bad for Flash now that I think about it. He got his girlfriend beat out of him.
Yeah. And if you remember, he didn't do anything wrong. I know that Flash is a bully in the comics and whatever, but he didn't do any. Peter's the one that I think
he didn't do anything brutal. Let's put it
shot
like that. I would say, yeah.
Shot a web at him or something. I don't remember what he did.
Something happened. I think he bumped him. Something. I think he pulled something against because the spider web pulled
like the food or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then before that, no, that's different. That's a different scene. But something happened, and then because I remember he yanked someone's shirt off, but it had nothing to do with that at that time. But something happened to his spider powers, and then I think he bumped into Gordon or something like that, and then Gordon's like, "Oh hell no!" And then it escalated to a fight, and then Gordon got his girlfriend knocked out of him. Yes, they shook a girlfriend out of him like loose change, and yeah.
Hey, dude.
And Mary Jane, who apparently, do you think Mary Jane is looking for a strong person or someone to with high gravity, like someone with a good aura, or is she looking for just the strongest person?
You know, nowadays they would say something like, because she's dealing with a toxic man at the house, she's used to toxic masculinity, so that's what she was looking for. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I
You've
know
heard
what you
stuff
mean.
like this before.
Yeah.
But perhaps it's just hypergamy. Just looking for someone who's stronger, who has more control of the situation, who's in charge, a leader type of. There's nothing wrong with that.
And also another way of looking at it is she's looking for peace and security.
Yes.
What's safer than the big guy, than the biggest guy in school?
Than someone who protects you, yeah.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
what's safer than
that's what I'm saying, hypergamy. It makes sense. It's not there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I mean, and then once he gets the taste knocked out of his mouth by someone who wasn't even trying, what's safer than someone who clearly has a side job, works hard, achieves good results in school?
Yeah, and he lives next door.
And he lives next door. That's pretty safe too.
Right.
That's a way of looking at it. It's a food for thought type thing. But anyway, that tangent.
Right.
So wrap that tangent up. Okay. But it's fine. It was a good place for a tangent because basically she drives away, Ali drives away with him. And yeah, it's a new day.
Again.
Yep, it's a new day again in like the space of 5 minutes. Because that's the style they're doing. They're doing this whole new day system. It's again, I like it. Sincerely. Yes, it's a new
But this
day.
is why movies felt long back then. I feel like movies, like I think I used to have this. No, it was before we even started this podcast. I used to say the difference between movies back then and movies now is movies back then, bruh, they would show you someone's parents dying. They would show you this kid like as an infant, a kid growing up, going to school, getting a girlfriend, a whole training arc, like him getting bullied, a training arc, him getting a girlfriend at the end of the day and beating the villain in one movie, bro.
Yep.
So I feel like that's why these movies felt so long. It's probably like this whole day 2, day 3, day 4, day 16, day 100 in one movie. I think
Yeah,
that's why
but
they
that's
felt
the
so
thing.
long.
But it works though.
No, it does. It's
You
not
can
a
say
bad
it's
thing at
long, but
all.
it's not boring. It's
No,
long, but not boring. Definitely.
Okay, I think sometimes people associate long movies with boring, and that's not what I meant. I just meant it feels like a journey when you're watching a movie like this or something like Star Wars, where you see a farm boy ultimately becoming a Jedi in the first movie and saving like rebels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's truly fascinating to see that in one film. I guess the same would apply here because this kid came from nowhere,
Mhm.
comes to the valley, befriends this old man, learns karate, gets a girlfriend, is bullied
Yeah.
in one movie. Like it's there's a lot happening.
But it's multiple steps as well. Don't forget, we forgot about the guy number one that we met just so we can meet Ali. Remember that guy?
Yeah,
The one
the
that
guy we
looks at
thought the guy we thought was gonna be the best
Yes,
friend.
exactly. Only for him to basically to diss him and then the entire group to ditch him. Yes.
Yeah.
Like steps like that, they wouldn't exist in these movies anymore.
Yes,
And it's so
exactly.
funny.
Exactly. You see, exactly.
These
Nowadays
steps,
you don't get stuff like that.
yeah, because you had to cut the fat. And you end up cutting the meat as well.
You actually cut the meat, not the fat.
Yes, exactly. And it's so funny. Like I was thinking about this because again, I'm a guy who sits in silence and thinks about movies. There's this movie called We Were Warriors, directed by Mel Gibson, recommended to death. There are these two mini tangents that happen in the movie. One of them is it's a soldier base, it's Vietnam War. Flippin' beautiful.
Is it the one with Vince Vaughn?
No, you're thinking of the other Mel Gibson one. I think it's Mel Gibson, but you think of Spider-Man as well. Also Spider-Man.
Is it Hacksaw Ridge?
Yes, with Andrew Garfield and Agent Smith and Vince Vaughn. Yeah.
Isn't there?
Yeah, it's his dad. The dad.
Hugo Weaving is
the dad.
Andrew Garfield's
The
dad?
drunk dad. The drunk dad that
Ah, interesting. Okay,
Watch it again.
I've never seen it, but
Oh, okay. No, yeah, no. Really? Mr. Christian has never seen that movie.
Mr. Christian has never seen that movie.
I'm shook. You should watch it. It's some good Christian TV right there.
Right. Christian TV.
I'm playing. But seriously, it is genuinely good, unironically. But anyway, this one, right? There's two tangents. The one is the perspective of the military general who's like, there's this guy that salutes him and then says good morning, and the general's like, what's good about this morning? And he's just pissed at him the whole time until the end, and then something nice happens. But it's like, oh, 1, 2, 3, that happens. Flippin' important in my opinion. And then there's this other bigger tangent where you get the main characters, and then you get a perspective of their wives. And it kind of shows like this one black wife is surrounded with all these white people, and she's like, a bit on the outside. They try to help her join in, and it's not a smooth transition. And then as the war finally kicks off, you start to see this like heartbreaking thing of, those like two soldiers that walk up to a person and says, I regret to inform you that your husband is dead. And it becomes this whole thing of like all these soldiers going up to these houses, and it's like, holy shit, the death count is no joke. It was one of those things. It's beautiful. And you actually find out that one of the main characters gets one of the letters, and it's like this whole thing, and it comes together. And you could almost argue it's not tied to the main storyline of these people surviving at all.
So it's like mini arcs,
Yeah, exactly. It's a beginning, middle, end. And it without that, you don't, this feels cheap. You know what I mean? And I feel like with these things that we're doing, there's these steps that you think you're missing, but you're not. You think you're trimming the fat, like we said, you're not. You're trimming the meat.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, I think it actually happens in every Spider-Man movie. Maybe not the Tom Holland ones, because I really don't like the Tom Holland Spider-Man. But even Aunt May has arcs. Like in the second one, she's so broke she needs to go to the bank to get a loan.
Doc, and then
You know,
yeah, that's how you get Doc Ock. Yes, that's how Doc
Yeah,
Ock shows up. Yes,
exactly.
She's
know?
dealing with the death of her husband throughout the whole arc. If you actually think about it, she is.
Because in the first one, I think she ends up in hospital. That's when she tells Peter that she's not Superman. And I think she also prepares like dinner for, I think it was Thanksgiving or something.
Yes, it was Thanksgiving. Yes.
And then in the second one, that's where I think she was moving out and whatever.
Yeah.
And the whole bank thing, and she sold these comic books and all of that. So yeah, there's some mini other characters have arcs in this thing.
And you know what's funny is a lot of European stories have figured this out. Actually, I can't remember what movie it was. I think it was this weird vampire one. I think the Let the Right Ones In or something like that. Where you see like some of the victims. You see the families of these victims like go through this ridiculous trauma and ends up coming back together again later on. But it's stuff you need those stuff to show consequences. You know what I mean? I think that's where the Zemeckis people. What's it? I think it's the Zemeckis. The Godzilla 2012. Is it Independence Day as well? Ne? But those guys.
But the directors.
The directors,
of the
yeah.
movies.
Yeah, that's why they always have so many side characters, because you need to show the consequences of the actions. Like, I think that's why they're better than San Andreas. San Andreas wasn't that good because we just followed one family. We didn't follow we didn't follow anyone that died or like anyone that was
multiple characters.
Yes, because we followed one group and they were just in the middle of everything, which doesn't,
just give me a second. I think there's some lights are out here, so
yeah,
I have to use my phone. Yeah.
Load shedding.
No, it's not load shedding. I think it's the main switch.
Oh shit. Okay. You alone?
But it's fine. No, I'm not alone.
So someone else gonna try and fix that, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, I was just saying that it matters when you show consequences. I think we talked about it before, but the director of the original Seven Samurai, he used to
Akira Kurosawa.
Yes, the way that he would show consequences was by showing every single character dying. Do you know what I mean?
Every single character?
Yeah. So if some random guy gets hit with an arrow, you see him have his death animation almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So it wouldn't last long, but you'd still see them die. You know what I mean? It's just to show consequences. Or like talking about fourth thing, replacement killers, where when they fire guns into nothing and then you see it hitting other people, strangers, do you know what I mean? Innocent bystanders, just to show.
I guess you could also say the same thing happens in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
But you see the consequences because a lot of people die in that film.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the mass grave, the tombstones there, stuff like that is so beautiful, and it's the glue that makes a movie. I think it's the glue that makes a movie. Like a lot of movies fall apart because they don't have this. I should actually watch the Borderlands movie just to see how bad it is, just so we can see what's missing in terms of stuff we talk about.
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah,
Borderlands.
Yeah, because it looks terrible.
Is it?
It looks so bad. It looks amazing. Have you not seen the trailers?
No.
And we did a thing on it.
Oh no, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking about war movies, so that's why I'm so lost. Think about war movies. So when you say Borderlands, I'm thinking it's probably a period piece like World War. And they're talking about like a movie based on a
Kevin
game with Kate
Hart,
Blanchett and
yes.
Kevin Hart. Like
Mhm.
that's like the worst casting ever. Like how would you place like Kate Blanchett with Kevin Hart, man? Like makes no sense. But anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Um, where were we now? But yeah,
We're basically talking about Andy.
yeah.
The next day. We're talking about the next day after him and Ellie basically have their moment together.
Okay. Um. Okay. Cool. Well, let's get back to reality. Okay. They've had their moment, so it's a new day. And there's been this consistent cutting from black to white to bright white. To show the time progression. They sign in. They steal themselves a black belt. They steal themselves a black belt, which I thought was hilarious. A little funny little moment where like,
Well, Mr. Miyagi stole it. Mr.
yes. He's such a thug, man. He's such a badass, dude.
Which makes because he broke so many rules for Daniel to even enter. So it makes me wonder about the merit of Daniel's win because he did so many. It's like okay, it's as if like the writer said, guys, we have no time anymore, so we just have to like come up with ways of how Daniel can get into the tournament and he wins at the end. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, have you watched a movie called No Retreat, No Surrender with Van Damme as the villain? That's one of the movies we need to do, by the way.
No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, he plays this Russian villain.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Hello, you still there?
So the main character's name is Jason from martial arts dog. It's like bar for bar Jason from Power Rangers. I promise you. And I think that's why I love Jason so much more than any character to this day. It's because I love this character from Mighty Morphin because I used to love the character from No Retreat, No Surrender that much. But
Okay.
anyway, uh in there's like a tournament of sorts. And Jason didn't enter the tournament, but his girlfriend's brother was fighting Van Damme's character at the end. Now the sister intervenes because that's the brother that's getting his ass whooped.
Mm.
So as she intervenes, Van Damme like pulls her hair. Then Jason is like, hell no. He gets into the ring and fights Van Damme and wins at the end. So it's like this guy, he didn't even enter this thing. He was not supposed to even win this, but he beat the bad guy. So he's the true champion. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like same. I'm sorry if it's the same thing happens in Captain Tsubasa or Flash Kicker. Captain Tsubasa is an anime. It's one of the best animes I used to watch as a kid. It's a football anime.
Yes.
In the manga, right? So okay, the author created a character called Tsubasa Misaki or something like that in the one shot. But when he did the actual story, he split the character into two characters, Tsubasa and Misaki. So Misaki had just joined the school, but I don't think he was even registered yet. So there's a game playing, and the team is losing. Tsubasa's team is losing. But since Misaki is there, he gets there and he's really good at soccer. It's not even entered, it's not even part of these guys' crew. So someone borrows him a gear, he gets in, helps the team win, and the team wins. I'm like, dog, you're not even officially part of the school yet.
Yeah, what sus shit is this?
So anyway, going back to this, all I'm just trying to say is there's so many such things that Mr. Miyagi does. Where if you really think about it on paper, maybe this kid shouldn't even win this tournament because
Yeah, because he wasn't ready. They just
he
want to make
doesn't have a
sure.
black belt. Like he didn't qualify for different certain things. But anyway,
Yep. Yeah. Fair enough. No, I'm fully with you. But
maybe it's because it's a kids thing. Maybe adults
yeah, of
don't care
course.
that much. Yeah,
I
it's
know
a
it
high
makes it.
school,
Yeah, it makes Mr. Miyagi
it's
more
a high school
interesting.
film. So.
Yes, it makes it more cheeky.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a,
And it makes him more likable because you're like, oh, Flip, you just did that. You just did that. Like it makes him like
exactly.
the smartest character in the movie.
But yeah, yeah. You still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool. There's a skit with her getting to the event. She ends up teaching them. Oh yeah, she ends up teaching them the rules because they don't know the rules. Oh yeah. Okay. First of all, the skit is basically hilarious because they need her because again they don't actually know anything that's going on. She, being the only
Yeah.
clever person there, actually bothered to learn what the game is.
Right.
So they try to get her in, but they're like no. And then Mr. Yag's like, no English.
Oh yes.
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 And it's like, oh, okay, well, I hope you guys win. It's like, thank you. It's like, dog, it was the funniest thing. But anyway, yeah, she ends up teaching them the rules because Mr. Miyagi only knows about fighting. Danielson gets dragged into his first fight. He doesn't know what's happening, but he's motivated to focus and to stop running. And he gets his first ever point, which quickly becomes 2 points. And then we break into our montage of fighting. Johnny wins. One of the Cobra bullies wins. Johnny wins. Daniel wins. A Cobra bully loses. A Cobra wins. A Cobra then faces Daniel for the first time. And then Daniel wins. All of these fights are like snapping through just one big montage with these
Yeah,
cool.
but they're really good. They're really good fights, though.
Yeah, and the music was like actually like I'm sure that music would be too expensive to put it in the movie right now if I remember correctly because like it's like a really good song. It's like a popular song if I remember correctly. I don't want to get us copyrighted, but at the same time, I almost want to play it, but it's fine.
Which one is it? The best around.
Yes.
Is it that one?
I think it is that
Yeah.
one, yes.
You're the best
Ah,
around.
dog. Well, it's like, okay, now,
There's something about 80s and 90s music, man.
dog, I have the tiger. What are you taught? What? It's like, okay, what was big
Ghostbusters.
first? Yes.
And these movies make so much money. Like these artists, I'm sure they make so much money because apart from the movies themselves, these songs are played. I'm sure Jacaranda plays some of these songs. You know what I mean? Like they
Oh, yeah.
VH1, TV. Like these are the songs that whenever you play them, you just taken aback. You know, it's like
yeah.
if you were to play "My Heart Will Go On" or A Whole New World. You just think of Aladdin instantly.
But now here's the thing. See, those ones you could argue they were big first. Well, some of these other songs, I don't know if they were big first. You know what I mean?
Or like I have the Tiger, for instance.
Yeah, like was that big first? What came first? The chicken or the egg? Yeah.
That's big before.
Like, cause remember, this was a small budget. This movie didn't get that much of a budget, if I remember correctly. It's a medium budget movie. They didn't have that much hope for it. Were they like this song?
No, I get you. I get you.
I don't know. I just always find that stuff
But
curious.
I think it's before. Sorry, no. What do you find?
I just find that
Please
curious.
repeat what you just said.
Oh, I said I find that kind of thing curious. Like,
same here. Same here.
Yeah, because I remember I watched a TikTok of like they were talking about like some movies where the cast was full of stars, but but it turns out they weren't famous yet. You know what I mean? So the movie did well later on, but like there was just full of stars. Like Me on Elm Street 1 had Johnny Depp in it. We've talked about The Untouchables before, where only Sean Connery was technically the most famous person there, and then everyone else kind of blew up afterwards.
Wait, wasn't Kevin Costner a huge name then?
Not as big as Sean Connery. No, I've seen the behind the scenes. They were like, "Oh my God, it's Sean Connery."
De Niro?
No, he had done some good movies. Don't get me wrong, but he wasn't De Niro as you know him. If I remember correctly, I can't remember which one came first. But the point is like Sean Connery, like these names, like Andy Garcia was not that.
I mean,
Andy Garcia
would
was
make
not
sense
that big.
It would make sense that Sean Connery. I mean, he was Bond way before most of these guys blew up. Way before The Godfather came out, I think he was already Bond. James Bond.
Exactly.
So it makes sense that he would be like top billing.
Yeah, he would be top billing. But now look at some of these guys. It would be impossible for some of these guys to not be top billing. Like you couldn't make Untouchables today, if you know what I mean. It would be a $500 million movie. Yeah. Exactly.
No, it would be 1 billion just to cover the salaries alone.
Yes, you get what I mean, though. You get what I mean? Like these old
Right,
movies, they didn't know what they had.
right, right.
I always
No, I
find
mean
this.
the same applies with Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim. It is quite clear that most of the people that, I mean, I knew a lot of them, but it is abundantly clear that there's like Oscar winners now
Yes,
from that
Brie
cast.
Larson.
Brie Larson.
What's space? Superman.
Chris Evans became Captain
Chris
America.
Captain America. You couldn't. It's impossible.
But he was already Superman. Brendan Routh was already Superman. But it also, I think you could say it revived his career because Superman was his biggest film role, I think. But then Scott Pilgrim gave him another character for people to actually like again. And also, his character is completely different from Superman because that Superman, he was really trying his best to be like Christopher Reeve. So that's why some people don't really acknowledging him much as Superman, if that makes sense, because it wasn't his own character.
Yeah, no, it was. That's true. But I feel like also the movie wasn't that good. I feel like you can also blame the movie.
Yeah. Look, it was just a nightmare.
It was unfortunate for him because like Henry Cavill managed to stand out. Like Henry Cavill stood out.
Look, I think, and I mentioned this before. I think with the other guys that Zack Snyder got a lot of things wrong, right, in the DCEU, but what he got right was making these guys look comic book accurate for the most part.
Absolutely. And like, also, but still keep them.
There's no one who physically looks as good. There's no one who physically looks as good as Henry Cavill as Superman. Like physical appearance wise, there's nobody.
Absolutely.
And then there's nobody that really looks physically accurate comic book wise as Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah.
There's nobody that looks that good as Ben Affleck. Like comic book accurate wise, nobody looks that good as Ben Affleck.
Dude, that opening.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll still say that opening for Batman is one of the greatest of all time. Like a Batman introduction. I would even argue it beats the Christopher Nolan one. Like,
even the kids are scared of this
dog. When that,
you know what I mean?
When those people are like, no, we want to stay inside the prison. Batman is here.
Exactly.
I was like, damn.
But it makes sense because how do you scare criminals?
Yes.
If you don't scare civilians.
Exactly. If you're not scary, how are you scaring criminals? Yes. Yes, exactly. I agree with you. So
everybody has to be scared of you.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be scared of you. Even the it's possible people don't fear you, but the criminals fear you. That doesn't make sense. So everybody in Gotham needs to be afraid of you. Everybody. So that's something that I don't think I've ever seen in any medium. Whether it's cartoons, comics.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. And I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
You know.
I really do. I think so too. But anyway, back to the game, back to the thing. Daniel wins and his name shows up on the knockout scoreboard. I'm assuming the previous rounds were round robin. And the bullies from the changing Daniel goes to the changing room. And the bully he fights one of the people there. He argues with the people in the changing rooms with the bullies. But then they go back to the fight and he kicks Daniel in the head.
This is why you realize that, like, if you really watch this third act, Johnny's not the villain, though, at all. Like, the villains are the other guys. Not all of them. There's one specific dude. Is it Butch? I forgot his name.
I think that's his name, They put him in a body. Yeah.
That guy was crazy. So antagonistic. Yeah. Because if you remember, there was one who was like the voice of reason, who was like stopping. Hey guys, don't do that. What are you doing? I think that's the one that ends up becoming a priest, like in Cobra Kai. I think he's the one that becomes a priest. But I think it's Stephen McQueen's grandson or something in real life. Oh, that guy. Yeah, he's the one that actually doesn't come back in Cobra Kai. They just say his character went to jail because I think he quit acting a long time ago. But that guy was a loose cannon. He was a hothead for sure.
For sure.
Like he was probably like top student number 2 or something.
Oh yeah.
Like at Cobra Kai. He actually embodied Cobra Kai more than Johnny Lawrence ever did.
Yes. Like I agree, he embodied the principles, but then he still gets his ass. He still gets kicked in the head though.
Yeah.
He still gets kicked, and then Daniel gets the win. And before we know it, we're in the semifinals. So yeah, we're in the semis and the fights get longer. The outside winners from before get rounds because sometimes they did this in the newer version of Karate Kid where they show some of the other schools, some of their best fighters from other schools as well. And then Johnny beats that main guy that was like one of the outsiders. And I think that was just to show that Johnny is actually good at this game. So he's focused on the thing. He's not trying to mess with Danielson. He actually wants to win this tournament. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything else was just extracurricular, but this is something he's actually serious about. So I like that. That was great. In fact, I don't even think him and Ali make eye contact even, if I remember correctly.
Right? Who and Ali? Daniel and Ali.
No, Johnny and
no, dude, that guy was super focused on the mission. He didn't even care about Ali at all.
I think that's fantastic. I think that was a good move. I think that was.
He didn't even notice she was there.
Yeah, because
like he was not even there.
Yeah, because this is serious for him now.
Yeah, it's like he moved on. Like he was not even. Yeah, actually, it's like the entire arc of him and Ellie just dissolved before this third act. Like,
I think they probably was some invisible scene where Johnny finally gave up. Do you know what I mean? After Simba actually punches the crap out of him, and that's like the last time we see him. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm sure he was like, you know what, that's fine. Screw this, I'm done.
Okay, I finally get the message now. Now I get the message.
Yeah, no, clearly she's not playing around. She really means it. If she can punch me,
she's not playing hard.
The best fighter in the school. You're punching me. She's not playing hard to get. She's serious.
Turns out that's what for Johnny. That's what no means. No means. You gotta hit him first. Then he understands what no means. But
exactly.
But yeah. Anyway, it's now the turn of Danielson and Johnny's best friend Bobby. Yeah, that's the voice of reason guy. But then he stopped and he's given instructions to cheat. Bobby's upset about that because he's confident that he can win this. But Kreese doesn't
actually passed away, man. R.I.P. to that guy. You know that he passed away, right?
Yeah, I think they mentioned that in Cobra Kai. I think.
Wait, was it Bobby?
I believe so.
Is it Bobby? Because there's the priest. This is not the one that passes away, right?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Because this is the voice of reason.
Yeah. Because there's Bobby and there's the Bobby and there's the priest, the one who died of cancer. He even died in the show.
Yes.
Remember that episode where they went camping?
Yes.
And if you check those scenes, because he was sick in real life.
Yes.
During the fight sequences, he didn't fight at all. Yeah, but anyway, that's a story.
Hey, dog, it's
a rabbit hole that we shouldn't get into right now.
Yeah, I know, but it's still beautiful stuff. It's giving me Street Fighter vibes all over again. Raul Julia vibes.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway,
but I like the fact that they had established him as a good guy since they were kids. Like he was the voice of reason since they were kids. You know?
Yeah, and it's beautiful because they all coalesce around him. It's beautiful, and it's real life beautiful. But yeah. Cool. Anyway, Kreese doesn't give a shit. He wants pain. You get a moment of tension as Daniel gets a low kick, which puts him out of the game. And the announcer shouts out the rules that he has 15 minutes to get back in the ring. Danielson.
Because that guy was automatically disqualified, right?
Yes, he was. Danielson is inconsolable. But when Mr. Miyagi is alone with Danielson begs him to do the magic, which in reality is likely all just, in his head, but whatever. Mr. Miyagi is hesitant, but Daniel makes it clear that this is vitally important to him, and that things won't change without him going back out there. And you know what? Mr. Miyagi understands. I feel like nowadays... How does... Yeah?
I don't even know. Like, I don't think they showed us him getting the magic throughout the time. How does he even know that Mr. Miyagi has the magic?
Because no, they did show it. When he got the taste kicked out of him in the middle of the movie, when they're all in the Halloween masks.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
No, I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm wrong. That's not what it happens. It's the training sequence. He's been painting all day, and his arms are sore, and they're like, I want you to do a punch, and I want you to do practice wax on, wax off. And he's like, my arms are sore, I can't. I've been painting all day. And then he's like, and then his arms feel better. And then he does the wax on, wax off punch, practice punch. That's when it happens. Right. Okay. So I remember it was a setup and a payoff. I remember I even mentioned it back then. But yeah, anyway, I feel like they wouldn't do this today. They'd be like, no, man, toxic masculinity. Where Mr. Miyagi wouldn't understand. He'd be like, no, you need to deal with this. But anyway, we need to deal with your emotions, son. But instead, Mr. Miyagi
go in there limping and kick his ass.
No,
I don't care if your toes are broken.
You need to go to your
shrink. Or be like, no.
It'll be the other way around.
Like, no, it's done.
Over. It's fun.
It's fine. Like, no, you're done. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're all winners.
Exactly. We're all winners in spirit. You give him a hug, kiss his forehead, and then and that would be the end of the movie. You want me. I'm your dad. You know what I mean? You might have lost in the tournament, but you won in life. Yes, Coach Carter. Yes. But instead, Mr. Miyagi understands. Oh man, that movie. That's the thing I don't like about that movie. Like Coach Carter, why did they have to lose? All right, why did they have to lose? I understand they were going for realism, but no, you could have given those kids a win. Like exactly. Work so hard. What is the point? Yeah, and they're like in the text. Oh, they won. What is the point of making a movie about a coach and the team loses? Dog. But anyway. Then they just write in the text, oh, they won years later or whatever. Yeah. Like, I don't care. Like, show me they went to college or something. Okay. Yes. Show me that movie. But whatever. And you know that whole thing of like showing people and then it pauses and then they write underneath, Devon went to college and he has a degree in whatever. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Take this music, make music, let it take you away, and be hopeful. James, then they'll write like one character like, yeah, James actually died. Yeah. He died like 2 weeks later. We need to make a skit out of that one of these days. You must come over my house and make a skit. No, we need to do it with all the guys, bro. Yeah. That's crazy, man. But anyway, like same thing happens in Boys in the Hood. It's just that there's no hopeful. Like in Boys in the Hood, they mentioned that Ice Cube's character, like Dobo, I think he dies like weeks later or something. Like 2 weeks later, I believe. Yes. After he got 2 weeks after he got his revenge, yeah. But yeah, anyway, guys, back to also Stand By Me as well. But anyway, cool. Yeah. He then claps his hands together and the music makes a dramatic shift. It's actually great. And I feel, you feel the need to move. It's so strong. It actually kind of reminded me of the Green Book. It was very exciting. Anyway, very amazing use of sound. It gives pure drama. And there's a great use of a horn as well. And then they face off. Daniel comes in aggressive and full body, and Daniel gets the first point. The background noises are clearly external. Yeah, it's all like external. What's a voiceover? They were like, we're not going to use the real audience's sounds. But it still works. Like, do you know what I mean? Like ADR. It's all ADR, but it still works. Yeah. And it does the job. It still gets your emotions going. But because the stakes was really high. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's a high school tournament. Like it shouldn't really mean much, but because it's, like back then, any movie we saw, we took seriously because we hardly saw movies. I think that's what people don't realize. It's not like today where you can just watch a movie on Netflix anytime you want. A movie was a big deal because it's not something you saw every day. Oh no, definitely. And we're also cynical as well. I mean, even the modern day Karate Kid Cobra Kai kind of makes fun of itself. It's like this school takes karate seriously. You know what I mean? But over here, it's beautiful. But anyway, after the first point, they call timeout, and Kreese has to talk to Johnny and tells him to sweep the leg, which catches Johnny by surprise, but he'll do it because no mercy, even if he's still appalled by it. Oh, he was bleeding, right? He had a nosebleed or something. I believe so, yes. Because if you remember, Kreese wipes off the nosebleed because
The reason Johnny went to Kreese was because he was showing him, yo, Sensei, this is what's happening now.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
you're right.
yeah, Sensei was like, yeah, hey, yo, sweep the leg. It's like, what? It's like, yo, sweep the leg. And Johnny at this point was worried about whether he's going to get disqualified or not because he wants to win this thing.
Yes, he literally wants to win. And I was even like, what are the rules? The other guy got disqualified and Johnny isn't. What are the rules here? What am I missing? But anyway, we get another extended aggressive fight, which earns Johnny the point, and it's 2-2. And they knock each other down after Daniel has already left the ring. Before he's punched in the face, they are still at 2 points each. Each attack on Daniel is not leading to a point. It's kind of around your Karate Kid 3, but whatever. I don't know why, but it's like a Mandela effect. I always thought Mr. Miyagi and Mr. Miyagi and Danielson had a moment where they talked to each other before he did the crane. No, he just thought of it on his own.
Yeah. I just remember that Mr. Miyagi did this move at the beach, so let me just do the same thing. Yeah.
But isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's definitely no. I think the reason you think it's a Mandela effect is because I'll give you an okay. In the second one, Mr. Miyagi does hint that he should do that whole right-left move because he was playing that thing. But that in itself is more like a hint that the only way to be chosen is just direct left-right fists. In the third one, I think he also, gives him a hint that he should do that move, that move that he learned like in the third one.
Yeah.
But in here, we think that he didn't tell him anything.
This is all his idea, which is crazy.
It's just creative. This is what I guess you can say fight or flight.
Yeah. And what's so crazy, you think about even in the new Karate Kid, with not Hilary Swank, Jaden, the Jaden one. I'm pretty sure there's hints that before he does. No, they put a lot of effort into showing the snake technique on the mountain,
right?
And then he remembers it. Like you can see the line. You don't really see the line as clearly here. But
Mr. Miyagi didn't teach Daniel the crane kick, dog. He taught him wax on, wax off. He taught him other things, but he didn't teach him the crane.
And I just saw the crane kick. That's actually kind of good. It means you trust your audience, which is amazing.
Yes.
That's trusting your audience.
Right.
Brilliant. But anyway, it's all non-verbal, and he does the crane before the eye contact is even done, and then the kick lands, and our hero wins. And the music, which had been climaxing, ends on a high, and the movie just ends.
Everybody
on his face, Johnny honors him in a split second. Well done. Oh no, he gives him the trophy himself. He gives him the trophy. Johnny's
he says, you're not so bad, LaRusso, or something like that.
Yeah, snatches it from the judge's hands, which is crazy, and then gives it to him himself, and says, "Yeah, you're not that bad."
But also, I think it goes to show that ultimately Johnny is not really that much of a bad guy. Like,
I mean, he's
especially in the third act.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
He is. It's the Cyclops Wolverine thing. You remember? In the first X-Men, Wolverine is like, Cyclops is like, he's about to attack Wolverine, and Wolverine is like, whoa, wait, it's me, I promise, it's me. And Cyclops is like, how do I know it's you? It's like, you're a dick. He's like, okay, fair enough.
But I think exactly. I think it kind of reminds of the Wreck-It Ralph as well, where it's like, you're a bad guy, you're just not bad guy. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because it's possible to be a good person and an asshole.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Where it's like you're rude, you're obnoxious, you've got your own flaws, but that doesn't mean you want to hurt people. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean you don't want good things to happen to other people.
Look, I think that entire thing it just stemmed from jealousy. He was just jealous of the fact that he's with Ellie. That's it.
He was lashing out.
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100%. All it is.
100%.
Yeah.
Took him a long time to get over a girl, but let me not lie, that's happened to me before. Because the movie's like 9 months? I think the whole movie happens over the course of like 9 months.
Yeah, bruh. If that's 9 months, that's not long. Bruh, trust me. It's taken me years.
I
It took me years to get over this specific chick, dog. Like, I think 5 years or so. Like, this is back in like 2010.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I get it.
Hope no new.
No. There's no new girlfriend.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fine. That's why.
Alright.
That's why I can say it.
Alright, fair enough. Because you know when you got a new girl, they hear that, they're like get mad. But no, I feel your pain, dude. I feel you. 100%, dude. But at least he gets over it. Does he show up in the second movie? He does, isn't it? He does.
In the beginning.
And then at the end.
Because it starts at the end of the like what happens outside in the parking lot.
Yes, that's right. It ends on the beginning. Because I'm like, yes.
Which is basically, I guess, it's probably like footage from the first film, I'm assuming. Like it's probably like a cutout shot where they're like, no, we need to end it properly.
See, and that's
either that or they just because
they
just ask them to come in just for that.
I don't think so.
I mean, there's a lot of shots. There's a lot of shots that were cut out that the creators, the screenwriters of Cobra Kai were digging for. So I think those are some of the cutout scenes that made it to the second one. Yeah,
100%. Because if you think about it's so funny. We discussed this in our group chat, guys. You should join our Discord now. We don't have a Discord, but we had a group chat. We were talking about. It was mostly me and you. We were talking about like the styles of directing, where someone can be all over the place as a director, but as long as they understand what the final product looks like, what it's supposed to look like, then it's fine either way. And I think that's what happened here.
Yeah.
They were all over the place with their shooting, and they were like, this doesn't fit. Shing! This doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Shing! Let's put in
ADR. Because yes. Because what I'm thinking could have happened is they shot it to a point where Kreese ends up with bloody hands. They're like, this is not a strong ending as much as it ending after the crane kick.
Yeah.
So like, okay, well, the crane kick would have a stronger ending than Kreese having blood on his hands. We know that Kreese is the ultimate villain of this movie.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not really
because the same thing actually happened with Karatekid with Jaden Smith. Yeah, exactly. So same thing happened with the movie with Jaden Smith, where there was a whole scene where Jackie Chan is fighting the master of the other guys.
Yes, I've seen it.
But it was completely cut out. So I think the same thing happened here.
Yeah, because
the masters were gonna fight each other, but it's not necessary because it was never about them. It was about these kids.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay. Yeah. So I'm sure the Hollywood execs were like, dude, we want you for 2. He's like, okay, if we're doing 2, then I'm gonna start with what should have ended in the first one. And then
we want number 2. Yes. Exactly, because Hollywood execs they make a good decision. So yeah, I'm sure execs would have wanted that in the first movie, but then I'm sure the director was like, no, this is where it needs. This is the momentum of the storyline hits its highest here. It will cut.
Oh, it could have been the other way around. It could have been that the director wanted to end it there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible that it could have been the other way around, where the director was like, let's end it like this. The execs were like, hell no. Ended with the crane kick. It's possible.
It's possible, but whenever you.
I mean, we like painting execs as bad guys, but I think they make really good decisions. Otherwise, they wouldn't. I don't think they would be execs. But
hey, dog, as long as the movie makes money, that's the big question for them. But I feel you. But yeah. Anyway, the movie ends. And that's that. I have a feeling that a lot of like we said. Like we were just talking about, actually, this is a movie that was likely saved in the editing room because those cuts were in a lot of places that were not fully connected in my eyes. But holy shit, does it not matter? All that happened so fast, and there are so many non-verbals in the final act. This is a coming together. This all comes together so well through so many strong moments that this movie ends up being a masterpiece that it almost shouldn't be, and I love it because of that. So I'm giving this a strong, easy 9 out of 10, and I feel like I'm almost being unfair by only giving it 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I would actually give it just a 10 out of 10. It's clean. Period. Mr. Miyagi, like I've noticed, I think the first 2, if not all 3, the last shot of the movie is Mr. Miyagi smiling, looking at Daniel, smiling. The first one, that's how it ends, with him just looking, smiling. The second one as well, it's him looking, smiling. I don't remember about the third, but ultimately it's just the last shot you get is Mr. Miyagi approving, basically, or being proud of Daniel.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's as if the director knew that I should keep this because this is gonna be iconic. This man is iconic. His character, his role is iconic. But I think we broke down this entire film nicely. All the elements ultimately they join well together. The music is perfect, timeless even. We didn't really get much of Kreese, but I guess you could say the same thing about Darth Vader. In A New Hope, you didn't really get much of Darth Vader, and I think that's why Empire Strikes Back was so iconic, because it was his vengeance. That's why movies like, and you can see that a lot of movies have been copying Empire Strikes Back ever since. Movies like Infinity War or Fast X, where the villain is the one that's getting revenge on everybody. And he gets his revenge in one way or another. He gets his revenge. So I guess showing the main villain not so much in the first movie makes sense, because it gives you an opportunity to know all the main characters involved. But when the villain comes through full force, Baba, it's a different movie.
Yeah,
that's why I always have mixed feelings about movies like that. Like I have mixed feelings about Empire. I have mixed feelings about Infinity War and all of that, because for me, I'm not used to movies like that where the villain's the main character. Because Infinity War, Thanos is the main character. Everywhere. We follow him at Wakanda. We follow him at the planet. We follow him. He is the one that interacts with all of these guys in different locations.
Yeah.
Like, these main characters don't interact with each other in this everywhere, but he's the one that interacts with Cap and Iron Man, even though they were not interacting with each other. He's the one that interacts with so many people. So, but anyway, going back to this, yeah, I don't have any. There's a reason this thing is so iconic. There's a reason it's so iconic, and I have no other words than to say this is probably the best one out of all of them. Okay, personally, oh man, it's tough. Okay, this trilogy, let me put it like this. This trilogy for me is one of the best trilogies in all of cinema, in my opinion. Because of the heart of Mr. Miyagi, because of Daniel, and like I said, all the ladies in these movies, the love interests or friends or whoever, are just great characters.
Yeah.
And it's no wonder Cobra Kai is so successful. It's successful because these are really good characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to
add? Nothing much, man. Just keep checking out our socials, I guess. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
that
guys.
Was a great movie.
Yeah, guys, please do check out. We do have a TikTok account, African Frame. Just check out African Frame on TikTok if you just want to check out some of the clips from some of the stuff we've done. In case you're new, or in case you just want to see bite-sized pieces of our discussions, you can find stuff like that there. You can also find some of our footage or some of our videos on Facebook as well. But yeah, everything should be in the links on the YouTube channels. But thank you so much for checking out this entire discussion. Let us know if you agree or disagree. Who was your favorite character in this first movie? Do you think Mr. Miyagi is the best character? Do you think Daniel is the best character? Do you think Johnny is a villain, or he's just misunderstood? Do you like Ellie? Do you actually think that she is emotionally intelligent, like we discussed, or not? What do you guys think of Bobby? Do you think he should have gotten more screen time because he's the level-headed one in the entire crew? What do you guys think of Butch? Do you guys think Butch shouldn't be in any karate tournament because it was just too dramatic? I don't know. Let us know what you guys think of anything that we've mentioned. There's a lot of stuff that we've mentioned. What do you guys think of the music, timeless stuff? What is the magic anyway? What is that? Is that cheap? What was he doing? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much. For myself, Mr. Extrodin, and Rob, we shall see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.